There's a huge difference between judgment and mercy. We found out by studying the Old Covenant that judgment usually comes from only studying the Old Covenant. But if you study God's New Covenant with people, the covenant of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, we find out that mercy is replaced. Mercy replaces judgment. And people only saw that when Jesus himself demonstrated it when he walked the earth. And in February of 1998, God began to teach me about mercy, the mercy of God. When Jesus, while in the company of religious leaders, said, "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone," he gave the most elaborate teaching in his entire life on the principle of mercy replacing judgment. According to the law, the adulterer at the time, who had been caught disobeying the law, was committing adultery with many men, and she was due death by stoning, according to religious law. However, God said, I put the obligation of forgiveness on the religious leaders who were present by calling attention to their own disobedience of the law, rather than calling attention to the disobedience of the woman who was caught in adultery. God said, my example of forgiveness was puzzling to everyone present at the time because the portion of the law regarding stoning for the act of adultery was ironclad. But my mercy, said God, has never been more powerfully displayed to men than in that situation. And God continued by telling me, when men seek to judge others guilty of sin, they are reinforcing their own judgment because all men have committed disobedient acts. Judgment is like a boomerang. It turns and judges the one who has judged. And if you'll remember, Jesus said, don't judge, lest ye be judged. So that is like a boomerang. You throw a boomerang of judgment out, and it's going to come right back upon us, as it did the religious leaders in that day. But God said, likewise, mercy is a boomerang. Isn't that great? Mercy is a boomerang. It turns and brings mercy back to the one who is merciful. I think I remember Jesus saying, blessed are those who are merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. In the example of the adulterer, when the religious men left their presence, I asked the woman where her accusers are. Where are the men who so easily condemned her? And then I said to her, neither do I condemn you. The letter of the law was replaced with mercy, and because it was replaced with mercy, when he told her to go and sin no more, she had the power to do that because of his mercy, not because of judgment from religious leaders. When you are tempted to judge another person, remember that you are throwing the stone of judgment at yourself when you throw the stone of judgment at another person. But also, when you are merciful to someone, you also are inheriting mercy from people. Remember, the boomerang of judgment will bring judgment, but the boomerang of mercy will boomerang mercy right back in your life.